Let's talk about people that kind of ticked me off a little bit here.
Really grinds Drew's gears.
What grinds my gears here? But people get on my lawn. No, it's when my lawn's bad. It's actually the PFF team here talking about our defensive line, and they ranked us. We're like middle of the pack here at that point. We're like some kind of average schlub here. Like, you see that man on the right of the picture there, Dexter Lawrence, the best nose tackle in all football, and you give us the 18th best. I'm sorry. And I talked about the show myself plenty of times that I'm a concerned person about this group because of the fact that it's a little light as far as the depth. But what's weird is they went into people that I don't call D-line. Like, I don't consider edge rusher a defensive lineman in the 3-4. I consider them their own position because they're doing things that defensive linemen don't do. You don't put defensive linemen out there in coverage very often. Sometimes you do in certain defenses. Not very often because they'll get burnt most of the time. You know, you don't do some of the stuff you do with these guys. So it's a different position. But here's the notes that PFF gave. They said New York Giants in the 18. Dexter Lawrence is a unique player, winning at a greater rate and with far more volume than any other nose tackle in the game when rushing the passer. Adding Brian Burns in the offseason gives the Giants a much better threat on the edge, and now the team needs Kayvon Thibodeaux to take a step forward. Though he got into the double-digit sacks in year 2, he had just 43 QB pressures from 520 pass rushing snaps, and his PFF pass rushing grade declined from his rookie season. It's weird they spend a lot of time talking about the edge. I'm sorry, I don't consider that edge a defensive line thing. And it's hard for me to sit there and say, okay, you got 3 starters. One of the 3 is the best in the goddamn league. And you're middle of the pack?
Yeah, it's like how bad we make them sound.
Yeah.
Best and 2 guys that they should be closer to that 10, but hey, let's just let them fall to 18.
That's below average. There's 32 teams in the league, so we're barely below average, but we're below average. And what's weird is if you include the edge room, Kayvon Thibodeaux and Brian Burns may not be the best duo in the NFL. Like, I'm not trying to suggest in any way, shape, or form that, but that's a damn good duo. That's a duo that most teams would give their left nut for. Like, that's probably top 10 duos in the league. Neither one of them are top 10 players, but they're both top 20 players at the edge rush position. 20 to 30. I mean, they're probably in that range at that point. You know, so yeah, that's the damn good duo. So if you're including the edge, that should improve the ranking. And when all you do is talk about a guy who had double-digit sacks last year, a guy who has been a 2-time Pro Bowler, and a guy who's the best nose tackle in the NFL, and you're giving us a below average grade, that doesn't seem quite fair, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely, because I'm going to tell you that it's like saying back in 1984, the Chicago Bulls were they were an okay team. They were a good team. They weren't great. Granted, you know, majority of that starting team went to become the dream team on the Olympics, but whatever. They're all right.
The majority of the team, the 2 players. That's not the majority.
But when you're talking 5, close enough.
Well, I guess Tony Kukoc was on there as well. different country, but but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just, to me, it's a little crazy. I mean, I think they're getting a little ahead of themselves and worrying about their own rankings and going, oh, well, Kayvon's ranking wasn't the best with us, therefore, like,
this must be true.
Yeah, like, you got still 2 great pass rushers and the best defensive tackle and, you know, best nose tackle, I should say. Because I don't want to get the Chris Jones people arguing with us here, but at the very least, the best nose tackle in all football. Like, that's just insane to me to have that kind of grade. Again, we're not a top 5. I'm not trying to say that, but if you're including the edge room, we're top 10. We are top 10. So screw you at PFF.
Thanks for listening to 2 Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.